I figured out the reason why I find decenter men so hollow as a movement. When you ask what it means to decenter men, people will say it's about not making men the centre of your life. Okay, and what's the goal beyond that? Well, the goal is that we make decisions based on what we really want for ourselves, not on what we think will make us desirable to men. Okay, and what's the vision beyond that? The vision is that we have a greater freedom to just be ourselves and pursue a life that is meaningful to us. Listen, this is all very good stuff, but isn't it interesting how the age-old advice of be yourself, do things that bring meaning to your life, is clear and accessible and constructive? And decenter men seems by comparison almost intentionally designed to generate confusion and hostility. Isn't it interesting how in the phrase be yourself, the focal subject is you, but in the phrase decenter men, the focal subject is men? Isn't it interesting how be yourself creates space for diversity and individuality, but half the content made in service of the decenter men movement is about scornfully calling women male-centered and creating an in-group, out-group mentality, when they're not talking about men, of course. Maybe we should start calling cycling initiatives the decenter cars movement, or book groups decenter screen spaces. I actually quite like decenter men as a provocation. It does a good job of putting being yourself into context, addressing the fact that being yourself means unlearning patriarchal patterns. But it's a provocation, it's a thought experiment, it's not grounds for a movement. A movement to do what? A movement to go where? It swallows itself and it becomes a nothing burger. Engage more in your hobbies, take some risks in life, experiment with your self-expression, do whatever you need to discover who you are, and yes, reckon with your misogynistic programming in the process. Challenge the parts of your psyche that you've inherited. But don't do it to get one over on men or so-called male-centered women. That's just a different way of putting men at the center of things. Center what truly brings meaning to you, and the things or people that don't align with that, whether male or female or otherwise, will naturally get pushed to the margins. Take an active interest in who you are. I know it's not as snappy or edgy sounding, but I think that is better advice.